Everybody, welcome to Visual Communication and Media. My name is Adam Rozeski. It's a pleasure to see each and every one of you. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Welcome to the end of week 3. We're about around the halfway point right now, and I figured I'd help you out with your assignment this week and talk about logos and their importance and why they matter as symbols and how they have their own identity based upon the visuals that are used to make them their own thing. And you're going to focus on that this weekend with your logo assignment, and this will kind of help you out. Now, logos are a visual representation of the product company experience. They directly correlate to the experience that's happening right there. Much like how Target is the target idea to find wherever you want. You also have the Nike swoosh, just swooshes. It's tied to the Greek symbol of athleticism. And overall, obviously with Nike, they deal with sports equipment, right? So it deals with athleticism, where Target is the place where you're going to find all your items that you want. Directly correlates to those things. It's got to be simple and easy to understand. And we have to consider the fact that when we're dealing with this font style and format must also be considered, because these are business logos, right? So they got to be accepted culturally as well. So it's not like normal symbols where they're very specific to the culture. These have to have a little bit more of an icon kind of style to them. So they have kind of characteristics of both, and they need to translate in size. So if you see it on a billboard, it's got to look good on like an Apple Watch at the same time too. So they have to matter in that way. And you got to be careful with logos because, again, this is supposed to be outward facing. You don't want to offend anybody with the logo design itself. So much like they have ideas of symbolism, they also have ideas of iconic elements as well. Now there's 7 different types of logos out there. We'll talk about the combination mark at the end, which is this third one right here. But the other 6 we'll go through real quick and show you what different types. Now, abstract marks are just marks that are in visuals that are specific to the relationship of the business itself. For example, Pepsi uses the Pepsi Sun, and that's been their company logo ever since the 1800s, and it's kind of tied to that element right there. It's abstract, but it relates to their experience and their growth. Mascot logos are pretty simple. That's the next logo in line. It's their mascot or their character that pretty much sponsors everything about their business, much like KFC. Obviously, it's the Colonel. So Kentucky Fried Chicken right there. The Colonel right up in the front, right off the bat. You see this in a lot of sports teams. You also see this a lot with different types of businesses as well. Now we're going to skip the combination mark. We'll go to the emblem logo next. Emblem logos are a little bit more traditional. You tend to see these a lot more in older school type of businesses or like families, government facilities, organizations, educational facilities. We see these a lot when it deals with traditionalism. Not only that, it deals with family ties. It kind of brings back the old heraldry signs from when your knights or your family heraldries from like the European cultures. That's how that logo comes in. So it's very traditionalistic, but they focus on a lot of different things, and it still correlates to the experience. For example, Harvard is the scroll with the reef that says Harvard on it, has a shield and the word Veritas and 3 books right there. That Latin word for Veritas actually means truth, and that's what they want to be. They want to be the place that finds truth. Now there's 3 other marks that kind of deal with visuals specifically themselves. There's the letter mark. The letter mark is an abbreviation of the organization themselves, and some of the colors that are worked with it ties into what they're doing a lot of times. For example, NASA stands for the National Administration Space Association. It's a letter mark because of the fact it uses the first letters of the abbreviation and it creates it in their own things. So obviously you say the whole word out, it's going to be hard to brand that thing, right? So they just used the first letters and abbreviated it and created a letter mark from it. And that's what that type of logo is. Now, if there's, instead of letters, there's just images, and the image correlates to the experience. Well, that's a pictorial mark. For example, the Byte apple, the black apple with the Byte in it, ties for Apple computers. It's supposed to be a modern look on Apple, but not only that, Apple's, but also it's a modern style and branding for the computer itself. And so that's why Apple chose this as a pictorial. It doesn't have any words or letters in it. It is just the image. And it ties into the sleekness of the design of what Apple's trying to pull off. Finally, you have word marks. Word marks are just the letter of the word of the company itself. It's good. When you want to use a word mark, you don't want to go more than 15 letters. Once you get past 15, it kind of gets tough to brand it. Now, there are other things that work well with it. Like, for example, the combination mark. Burger King does a good job. It's just 10 letters. It works pretty well with that. But other than that, that's pretty much how it works with there. But Google's wordmark, it's just the name of the company and it works with that. Now, the last one is combination mark. This is where it combines two marks or more together to create its own custom style mark. For example, the combination mark of Burger King uses the abstract mark to show off a burger. The meat being the letters and then the buns being on top of it. But also they use the word mark of Burger King that's mixed in with it to become the meat itself. So that's how Burger King gets its logo. These are seven different types of ways you can take a look at this and really go into detail, but also each individual visual and image and color represent the experience that they want, and that's what you need to analyze when you're going through your assignment this week. Other than that, that's all I got. So do keep in mind you have your discussion post due tonight, your live lecture, and your written assignment due tomorrow night. That's all I got, and I hope to see everybody for Monday for lecture again. Anyway, be safe, have fun, enjoy. Everyone has a good one. Take it easy. If you need anything, don't hesitate to holler. All right, see y'all later. Bye-bye.